Okay. So, I'm afraid we're going to change a little bit the topic. I'm going to, well, first of all, thank you for all the attendees for sharing your time with us. Thank you to the guest speakers, Marlis and Leno, as usual, so collaborative. Thank you to Jaime and Sabine for organizing this event and giving me this short slot to speak about something different. It is different, but I believe it has a close link and it will have a growing link to private banking. Okay, so we're going to move from banking at the top of the pyramid to banking at the bottom of the pyramid. Because my clients today, we live with less than $2 per day. So we're talking about severe poverty. Okay? I want to talk about new trends, not in wealth management, but in wealth creation, okay? From poverty. I will explain how, as a family business, because we are a family business, and we are very proud of that, we are trying, or we have started riding the trend of social investments, or so-called impact investments, which is a trend also in private banking. Okay? By social investment, we understand an investment which seeks not only to achieve a reasonable financial return, but also a visible, transparent social return, or a social impact. Okay? I will split my presentation, it will be very short, I promise, in 3 parts. First of all, I will explain how we got into microfinance as a family business. Second, I will explain what is our point of view as a family business about microfinance, what I call traditional microfinance today. And then I will explain what is our approach today, and the approach we have adopted as Inversión y Cooperación, which is our foundation, family foundation, and how we plan to scale up this approach by investing in a new social business next year. So, I like this sentence, saving for learning. You will understand at the end of the presentation, you will understand why this title, saving for learning, and not learning for saving. Okay? That's the meaning. So it all started, I mean, you know, we have mother company, which is ETS, which started close to 1987. Then we have TechRoot, which is hosting us today, inviting us today. My brother Jaime, Fernando, and I, we started our family foundation back in 2003, and the first thing we did was to design a way to fund our foundation without asking for donations. We want to remain, as always, independent, autonomous. So what we did is that is how ETS started, actually donating its advisory work to a fund called a Fondo de Inversión y Cooperación. It's a mutual fund, listed mutual fund, which has our foundation name, and where ETS donates its work, its advisory commitment, so that generates a regular funding to our foundation. Without asking for money, we offer a service, which is a fund. So investors who invest in that fund, they receive a service, a good investment vehicle, but at the same time they know that most of the commissions that are being charged, they go to our foundation for social projects. That's the way we found our foundation. We don't ask for donations. Okay? No donations. So that's how it started. Okay? Then, back in 2006, we went to Lima, Peru. We didn't go to do any charity. We were looking for cheap programmers, because our IT costs were becoming very high, so we went there to look for cheap IT resources, and we ended up creating Kipu Technology, which is a company with the goal of creating stable employment. Instead of bringing the programmers to Spain, we decided to create a company there, which was a software factory, which recently became TechBoost Latam, the company, a TechBoost company subsidiary, to provide services to all TechBoost clients in Latin America. So that's how we got to Peru. And in Peru, we had the opportunity, together with some NGOs, big NGOs, Spanish NGOs, to visit some of their projects, and we faced real poverty. Real poverty. So many unacceptable situations. Okay? And still today, after more than 10 years of the strongest growth in the region, in Peru, between 5 and 10% for over 10 years, that poverty is there. And that's unacceptable, at least for us. Okay? And that's how we decided to start to get into microfinance. And as you can imagine, coming from finance and technology, it was like a natural step for us to start a microfinance program. We did into asentamientos humanos, literally human settlements. You know, but when the Shining Light, the terrorists in Peru, they used to kill people in the Sierra, the mountains, and they went to establish around the city, basically in the desert, because all the coast of Peru is a desert, so they sit around the city with no water, no light, in such terrible conditions. So we started microfinance programs in 2 places around the city of Lima, following Mohamed Yunus, the Nobel Prize methodology, the solidarity groups. We search for women that live in the same area. We group them into a solidarity group, and we offer them microcredit, small loans from 50 euros to 250, 30, 300 euros. That's how it started. That program is for us a laboratory. We wanted to learn by practicing. So we started doing it with this. Today we have close to 500 families there in groups, in 18, 19 groups. And we started learning, and by learning, we also started applying new technologies to make processes more efficient. Because in microfinance, as in many other processes, also in private banking, there are many inefficiencies. So we brought our experience in technology to make more efficient many processes in microfinance in the groundwork. Okay? And that's the past. Okay? And here's where I start with the second part. So that's the past. That program, by the way, that program with close to 500 families, now after 3.5 years, I can say that by the end of this year, it will be self-sustainable. So it basically pays the rates, the interest rates paid for the loans, will pay all the infrastructure, the team of advisors we have there. So we think we have built something which is nice, self-sustainable. We're not asking to anybody for money, and it generates quite a lot of benefits. We are very excited because after this summer we had 4 volunteers who went there just to measure the impact of this program, and I managed to bring, well, a little piece of the video. If we can, we'll show it at the end, which is one of the ladies with whom we have been working for these years, who tells her story about these loans, what she did with these loans, because we were very curious to know. Now we have the technology, and we know exactly what is happening in real time. Okay? So that's the past. That's the past. So I can say now, from now onwards, from our foundation, we will keep that program running because it's always a good academy for us. We still learn things, but we're not going to give any more loans. So why? Okay? Or at least we are not going to work anymore with these traditional microfinance methodologies. Okay? Yes, we've obviously seen during the last decades a tremendous growth of microfinance as a way to fight poverty. Okay? Especially when somebody talks about microfinance, you immediately think about small loans, microcredits. Although microfinance is much more than that. There's micro savings, there's micro insurance, etc. There's been a strong growth, and there is strong evidence that microfinance helps in fighting poverty. Okay? I'm not going to criticize that. There is strong evidence that it helps, and there has been more than 500 million people benefiting in the last years from microfinance programs. I'm asking for somebody to switch and I don't want to do it. So, and this is something we have suffered. There is also evidence that there is a serious over-indebtedness problem. So it is very easy to over-indebt a person who has no financial knowledge, especially if the microfinance organization needs to pay for an expensive operational cost.